Morocco is filled with amazing and wonderful places. It's a ton of fun, and if you're planning on traveling to Morocco, here's a list with 3 of my personal favorite places to visit. Hey everyone, my name is Taimur, and the first place I want to talk to you all about is the 2nd largest functioning mosque in Africa, and the 7th largest in the world. Welcome to one of the biggest mosques in Northern Africa. Wow. The Hassan II Mosque is located in Casablanca, along the harbor. It's a huge 22-acre complex that also contains the 2nd largest minaret in the entire world. A minaret is a tower adjacent to a mosque to project the prayer call, or adhan. The complex even contains a small museum that we didn't get a chance to go to, but we were able to go through the mosque tour, which cost us about $13 per person, and it was amazing. Once we entered, we took off our shoes and walked into this huge, massive space. Being inside the mosque, I felt so tiny. It felt calming and relaxing. It really shows how much care was put into this construction, especially after seeing what the neighboring buildings look like. But once we were inside the mosque, we were able to get a tour in English. They had tours in also multiple languages like French, Spanish, German, Arabic, and more. It's quite a popular tourist destination. During the tour, you get to see the entire prayer space, see the retractable roof, and walk underneath to some fountains where Muslims perform wudu, which is a procedure for cleansing parts of the body before prayer. It's a type of ritual purification or ablution. They also tell you some interesting facts, like how they can fit 25,000 people inside for prayer, and outside there can be an additional 80,000 people on the complex, totaling to 105,000 people at a time. The entire complex costs roughly 585 million euros, which was a huge and controversial purchase for Morocco's economy, as they had to ask its citizens for donations, since the government could not fund it entirely. Roughly 12 million people donated, and the project was constructed over the course of just 7 years, finishing in 1993. The mosque is an amazing place to go to, and definitely worth the visit. The second place you should definitely check out is Ait bin Haddou, a historic fortified village which is along the caravan route from Marrakesh and the Sahara. It's a common stop for travelers to take respite before completing their travels. It's a beautiful old city that showcases Moroccan earth clay architecture, as structures are built from combinations of rammed earth, adobe, clay bricks, and wood. The city has also undergone multiple restoration projects since becoming a United Nations World Heritage Site back in 1987. It's a popular tourist spot and has been used as the environment in many films and TV shows, ranging from Gladiator, The Mummy, Prince of Persia, Game of Thrones, and more. The place was really amazing to see, and you can really feel a sense of the ancient world while walking through the streets and hiking to the top of the city. It's a gorgeous landscape and one of the best highlights of Morocco. It was also definitely a hike though, as the steps were pretty steep and tired me out really quickly. It was also so hot to go through the city with temperatures nearing 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Holy moly, it was hot. As we walked through the city, we were given a guided tour and learned more about the history and fun facts of the city. Right now there's only 4 people, or 4 families, living in that city. And now the city next to it, about 300 people live in it, with one being a very nice hotel. Throughout the streets, there are plenty of vendors looking to sell some great artwork that they've made with natural ingredients such as coffee and lapis. Or even from using the power of the sun with a magnifying glass. What? I believe the city is free to travel to, but our guided tour was included on our tour to my #1 location that you should definitely check out in Morocco. And that location is the Sahara Desert. One of the reasons we went to Morocco, besides attending a wedding, was to visit the Sahara Desert. At 3,600,000 square miles, which comprises 31% of Africa. Yes, you heard me, 31% of the entire continent. It is the largest hot desert in the entire world. The trip from Marrakech to the Sahara Desert is roughly 9 hours by car. And it's a long trip. But once we got there, seeing the sand dunes was breathtaking. For me, the Sahara Desert was always something that I've just read about in history and geography books. I never thought I would go to this desert before in my life. And here I am. I never once imagined that I'd be able to go to the desert and actually ride camels. What? As part of our tour, we got to ride camels throughout the desert. Typically, the tour that we chose is done over the span of 3 days, but since we were short on time, we were able to schedule a 2-day tour instead, which means we got to see the sunset as we rode through the desert. Stopping at a random sand dune, we were able to sandboard down the dune and... Whoa, whoa. Oh!
Are you okay?
Hey.
Can he get up? Oh no.
My butt hurts.
Yeah. Don't worry, he is okay.
Are you okay? Yeah.
We didn't sign waivers. Once we all took our turn down the dune,
Balance, Taimur, balance, balance, balance. Woo, good job. Oh wow. Good job.
we got back onto the camels and it started to rain. Rain? In the desert? My preconceived ideas of a desert did not include rain at all, so it was surprising. Thank goodness it was only a slight drizzle though, because we still had a while before we were at camp. On arriving to our camp, they illuminated the entire space, and we got to eat a wonderful meal. Normally, the place would have been filled with the other groups on their desert tour, but for some reason we were the only ones in that camp, which made it a bit awkward, and a bit scary considering none of us had any cell phone reception. This was made even more awkward as we were the only ones dancing while they played music for us. It was 7 people playing music just for us 4, and we danced for what seemed to be like a whole hour. What a night. Once we got to our tent, it was actually really nice. It had plumbing and electricity, but it was so hot, holy moly. One constant throughout Morocco in the summer was the heat, and the desert was no different. Sleeping that night was really rough, and I woke up absolutely drenched in sweat. But waking up to the sunrise at the Sahara Desert, to see it with my own eyes, was totally worth it. After hanging out at sunrise, being chased by bugs on the ground, and taking plenty of pictures. That was not at the same time.
No.
That was not insane. We headed back to camp and had one last delicious breakfast. After getting our things, we hopped on the camels for one last ride out of the desert. And there you have it. These were 3 places that you need to visit in Morocco, whether you're traveling or you live nearby. The best way to visit these is probably through a tour site, though it might be a bit pricier. Most tour sites will have some tours and more places that are also definitely worth checking out. And that's it! Let me know if you're planning on traveling to Morocco or have visited these places before. I'd love to hear what you think about these places, so feel free to drop a comment. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.